Welcome to Stampscaping 101. I just came across this binder when kind of reorganizing some things. I called it Scrapbook. It's not like scrapbooking as we've come to know it, but it's my little, I don't know, binder full of old um, workshop flyers put out by the different stores that I taught out over the years. Here's a really quite early one here from July 1992 from Stamp Your Heart Out in Claremont, California. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were the first rubber stamp store as we've, come to know it. Not just kind of a gift store that carried rubber stamps, but a rubber stamp specialty store, okay? I don't know when they started, but it was really super early on. And they're not around anymore. I don't know, it must have been about 10 years ago that I heard that she was closing down. She kind of moved into scrapbooking and became kind of a big prominent fixture out there. But Stamp Your Heart Out in Claremont. Okay, so anyways, I was looking at this is the first store that I ever taught at. Okay, I was with a Stamp of the Hand company. Now, I don't know if I've taught before this time right here, but that was the first place that I ever taught at, and right here it says Landscaping 101 class with Ken Nakagawa. I don't know why a lot of people call me Ken, and some people still do. I don't know. I know who they're talking about, so I don't correct them. But Ken Nakagawa of a Stamp of the Hand Company, July 16th, 1992, and it's on a Thursday, so I don't know. If that's if that's the first time that I ever taught out there, I drove out there with my old boss, Kathy, because, she knew Joan from Stamp Your Heart Out very well. And I don't know. I just remember the first time I taught there, I was really nervous. And at the end, Joan, the owner of the store, said, "No, you did really well." She said, "You're kind of shaking a little bit." And I do seem to recall kind of like, oh my God, my hand's like shaking. I was looking at it or noticing it during my presentation. The Wilderness series right here. This is a Stamp in the Hand class schedule. Okay, now they had one or two stores at that point in time. What they did was they rented temporary stores at malls. That's when a company or whatever, a retailer, rents out open spaces at malls, and they get it at a reduced rent, and they can just pay month to month. And the whole agreement is that the mall, if they get a full time, lease resident, they can just kick you out within a month or something like that immediately. So Stamp in the Hand had a couple Los Angeles area stores at that time, and that's one of the places that I taught at right there. So they called it the Wilderness series right here. And it says, learn how to incorporate separate stamps from our Wilderness series into seamless scenes from nature. Panoramic views of mountains, streams, and lakeside serenity. Stamp out civilization and create your own natural retreat away from the real world. August 23rd or September 12th at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 2 hours. I don't know. After that, I really, my classes, I thought most of them were 3 hours long. Oh, here's another one right here. I didn't even notice that. The Greco-Roman series. Rome was built in a day. Journey with illustrator Kevin Nakagawa to the birthplace of modern civilization. Learn how to use stamps as building blocks to recreate the classical world. I don't recall teaching that class. I didn't teach it too many times, but we would do these types of things like this right here, and that was my Greco-Roman series. I don't sell those individual stamps, but we do sell them in stamps sets now. Okay. I think that was the two classes I taught there. Okay, now this is another place right here that I used to teach at all the time when I first started Stampscapes. Toad Hall was in Buena Park, and I lived in Huntington Beach, so it was right up the street. I mean, it was quite a few miles. It took me like a half an hour to get there. Just a beach boulevard, but one of my favorite places to teach of all time. And I would teach there on a fairly regular basis as far as like teaching at any given location. But Terry at Toad Hall was a really great promoter of the line. Back in '93, I don't know if any of you recognize the online entity called Prodigy, kind of pre-AOL, but she was part of the Prodigy stamping group that became a stamping group on there, and so she would always kind of announce anytime I had some new designs or something like that that would come out, and I really liked teaching there. In '93, that was their first location, and it was, I don't know how many square feet it was, but it wasn't a large store, but it was really great teaching in there. It was almost like, it felt like you were teaching in someone's dining room table or something like that, because you would teach in the center of the store, but they would always have to clear out all the product that would, that was their display table with all their products and things like that. So they would clear that all out. And then we would be sitting around, I don't know, maybe three, I'm guessing it was, I don't know what it was. It was like 3 8-foot tables all kind of crunched together. So you're kind of sitting around on the perimeter of that teaching. And it was, you can barely move around in there, but it was great though. It was like, I don't know, there was just something it was like you're teaching in someone's house or your own house or something like that. That's how it felt. And there was this big window there, and if it was in the daytime, there was a lot of sun coming through there, and it was really great. I spoke with another teacher about it one time, and we both kind of agreed. It's like, oh yeah, we like teaching at Toad Hall too, and I don't know, just a really great location. Thank you, Terry, for those early, teaching opportunities and promoting the line and whatnot. Here's another Toad Hall flyer right here. If you missed Kevin's first couple scenery classes, then here's your chance to finally get a hands-on treat. Kevin is the artist of a Stamp of the Hand's famous scenery designs. In this 3-hour class, you will learn his own original ideas on stamping entire scenes with just a couple stamps, and lots of new ways for shading and sponging backgrounds. This one, I don't know, this one might have been before this one right here. In fact, I think it was. This is '93, the beginnings of Stampscapes, and this one was totally Stamp of the Hand designs, my nature designs from there. So, yeah. Okay, Lady and the Stamp. I mentioned their name when flipping through one of the Rubber Stamp Madnesses. Lady and the Stamp was in there, but they were in Fullerton, which is in Orange County. They were one of those places that chartered a bus to bus their customers over to Carson. Now, I mean, their customers could have driven over there. It's like, it would have taken them, 40 minutes or something like that, but I mean, what a fun way to do it, with other people that you take classes with at a given store, Stores always become kind of a hub of the stamping community in their general vicinities. So, they take a bus over there. They don't have to worry about it, and taking the bus back to, the Lady and the Stamp location. People can, compare or share everything they got at the convention, not have to worry about parking at a Stamp of the Hand. But I'm not sure when this was, if this was like around '93. I guess the parking lot was getting pretty busy over at the Carson show at that time. These are some flyers from the original Stamp Convention. Okay, this is '97, so that by that time they're getting pretty busy there. And these are all 60 exciting exhibitors right here. I don't want to go through all of them, or, even half of them I'll be reading off forever, but, gosh, I guess these are all alphabetical order. I'm just looking right here to see if ClearSnap was still in here. There was a couple of really big companies at the time, like ClearSnap, and some of those types of companies stopped coming by this point in time. Actually, they probably stopped coming. Let's see, this is '97. I don't know, they might have stopped coming 7 years before that or something like that, just because they were just too busy doing other things. But mini lectures, I don't know, over a dozen lectures there. This is a one-day show at that point in time, too. I'm surprised. They switched it to 2 days because a lot of the companies from, say, back east or something like that wouldn't do that. Okay, so this was March 22nd. There was always 3 shows at the Carson show: March, July, and November. And it was always the second week. I don't know, March 22nd, that doesn't sound like the second weekend to me. But what happened was, at some point in time, just to kind of break up the monotony, I don't know if you'd call it monotonous, but so Kathy switched the November Carson show to the Queen Mary show, which isn't far from Carson. You know, it's, I don't know, 15 minutes without traffic or something like that. But I'm thinking that, okay, this is the 15th anniversary of the original Rubber Stamp Convention. This might be the first Queen Mary show, so it was in November 97. It could have been, I don't know, it could have been the second time right there. But there were 3 different decks, okay? And it's a cruise ship, it wasn't designed as a convention center, but it was a really cool location for it. But 3 levels, 60 vendors, and there is one kind of elevator to get down from that top deck, to these bottom decks here. So there was, it was really tough for the vendors to get their booths set up right here, because there was one, fairly small elevator for everyone to take to load up their booths and stuff like that. There were escalators and stuff for the customers and things like that. But this convention at that time was it was one of the more interesting venues, and certainly crazy. To be sure, I'm pretty sure that if this was the first one, that's the one that the fire marshal came, and they didn't shut it down, but they regulated the flow going in there. I don't know where. It looks like I just kind of piled all of these in there. I was hoping to find one of these brochures here with the map. I wanted to show you guys where those. How the map was all laid out. So the map must have been on a separate type of form or something like that. It got kind of crazy. So see, this is 95 right here, and this was your postcard. Maybe this is just the postcard. They would put the mailing address right here, and maybe this is the flyer. I don't know. But anyways, after a couple years, they had to start doing these things like this, a full page thing, fold out like that, just to get all of the information on here. There was a lot of things going on at these shows, and not only that, it wasn't only just for retailers. At this point in time, like CHA and the different vendors, retailers throughout the world, they could go to the different wholesale shows or whatnot. But pretty much when you had like 62 exhibitors at this type of retail convention, a lot of retailers also came to this show, okay? So what they had was a wholesale show going on upstairs. So some of these booths like that would just have one representative upstairs, to take orders from the retailers that came. And there were retailers from all over the place. There were retailers from all over the world, like Australia, and I've seen Japan, and certainly Canada. I don't remember Europe. Well, maybe. I think that's where I met my distributor in the UK. But look at this one right here, the Scottsdale Rubber Art Stampede by Carmen's Veranda. Okay, now she was the first vendor, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure, but 30 rubber stamp companies at the Safari Convention Center. This sounds like the first one there. I don't have the date there. I'm not sure what the year is right here. If you attended this first Scottsdale show, maybe you can put it in the comments section down below. But I know that was pretty fun. I think that Safari Convention Center if I'm not mistaken, was that in the same hotel or something like that? I don't remember. But there were some different retailers here, I think, than you saw at some of the Carson show events. Okay, what is this one right here? Stamp Your Heart Out Again in Claremont. I don't know. There must be a Landscaping 101. See, we weren't calling it Stampscaping 101 at that point in time. Let me say, oh, okay, they got it too. Kevin Nakagawa at this point in time. Let's check this one out. No need to bring shovels, seedlings, or sprinkler pipes. Just enthusiasm for discovering the wonderful collection of landscaping stamps from the Stamp of the Hand, taught by artist Kevin Nakagawa. Kevin's special stamping and design techniques will make you landscaping experts. And it sounds like I'm doing like a gardening type of landscape stamping right there with shovels, seedlings, or sprinkler pipes. I don't know. I taught there before, so I don't know. But this was I don't know. There wasn't a year on this one. They didn't need the year at that point in time. But anyway, I'm guessing it was probably 93 though, or something like that. Oh my gosh. Karen's Corner from, this was, I don't know where this one was from. This one might be Santa Maria right here. How embarrassing, there's a picture of me right here in a little demonstration. That's when I had a mustache right there. Someone caught me with that in a photograph. I probably had that all of, I don't know, just a few months in my life. A special event, Stamp of the Hand. Okay, so this is February 27th. I'm not sure when that is, though. Stamp Ink. Okay, yeah, that was in Santa Maria, which is really close to my hometown of Lompoc, California, on the central coast of California right here. Another Stamp of the Hand class schedule. Okay, Kids at Heart. I think that was... This is 1993, so that's early on. Kids at Heart. Where was Kids at Heart? I don't know, okay, I'm not going to go into that. Okay, so here's more Toad Hall right here. More Santa Maria. I don't think I taught there more than once. It was kind of interesting to go back to Santa Maria to teach. Yeah, I mean, you know, the Central Coast of California, it's not like LA or something like that. It's, you know, the populations between, Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo, or between, if you're talking about larger cities like San Jose and Los Angeles, you know what I mean? That whole Central Coast area is pretty small, so you didn't have too many stamp stores in that location. You know, you have one every, I don't know how many miles. 70 or something like that. Let's see who this is right here. I don't recognize this. Oh, Stampabilities. Oh, Newport Center Drive Fashion Island. I taught there in this really small store, and I don't know what there was. There was room for like 4 people in the store, in the class, or something like that. So I think that's what we taught. So, The Great Outdoors, that's what that stamping class was called. Kevin Nakagawa is coming with his fabulous scenery stamps to teach a hands-on class. I'll get this slideshow included. I don't know where we had room for that in this location. I seem to recall it being very, very small. This was a store that was really close to me, too, because I lived in Huntington Beach at the time, and Fashion Island wasn't very far away in Newport Beach. But I had showed this slideshow on my inspiration for the different designs and whatnot. I don't know when I stopped doing that one, but anyway, it's interesting that I have that one. I don't know if I'm going to keep all this, and now that I'm showing this on this, I can probably get rid of this right here, but more Toad Hall types of things right here. Kevin's Scenery Stamping 2. So I probably had to add a second class at that point in time because, you know, if you get a couple batches of people taking the class at a given area, you have to add something else. So it might have been my Stampscaping 102 or 201 or whatever. They call it Kevin Scenery Stamping 2 here. And that's when I would go into things like more depth and what. Stamp Ink, Santa Maria right there. I must have been on their mailing lists and whatnot. What is this right here? This looks like, oh, this is Posh Impressions, of course. And I was thinking, what is this? This looks like a really professional flyer right here. It's like a tabloid size, but, folded in 3. But, so, Posh Impressions, D. Grunig, what they had was, I think they had 2 or 3 retail stores. I know one of them was in Crystal Court even. South Coast Plaza, which is a really, big popular mall, but they must have had a temporary store there or something like that. I never saw that one. I'm not even sure where it was, but so Stamp Into Nature, and it says Kevin Nakagawa is famous for his beautiful and realistic images of nature. Panoramic views of mountains, streams, waterfalls, lakes, and forests are emphasized in this workshop. Kevin will feature the latest and newest designs in his nature collection, and you will see how to use these stamps from the very talented person who created them. Hands-on, okay? I don't know, maybe they had some demonstrations and whatnot. But, yeah, this was in Brea Marketplace. So I taught there once or twice. And, yeah, one of the big names in stamping Posh Impressions. Stamp-a-Doodle-Doo was with Westminster, which is right down the street from me, from where I lived. They opened up at some point in time. New classes, they didn't even list the dates here. I guess it was just kind of setting that up. Maybe it was just they were new at the time. But I used to attend a Stamp-a-Doodle-Doo club, stamping club, at their store too. But there was also this other club in Huntington Beach called the Huntington Beach Stamp Club, which I know that club got huge at times. Sometimes there was 50 people at the meetings at any given time. Stamp-a-Doodle-Doo news here. Okay, so now we're calling it Stampscaping 101 right here. That's when I had kind of probably an official title for the class and whatnot. I don't know what date this is. Oh, fall 1993. A lot of the stuff came. I didn't keep this scrapbook beyond, I don't know, a given point in time. But speaking of the Huntington Beach Stamp Club, this is the Huntington Beach Stamp Club newsletter right here. Okay, so I just oh, I was going to say, it says what they're going to do at a given meeting. Oh, okay. September 14th, Kevin Nakagawa will be demonstrating his stamps. Okay. So this is June 1993. So still in 1993 right here. I was pretty busy teaching, I guess, at that point in time. I didn't think I taught so many classes, but I guess I did. Inked Impressions in Tustin. I couldn't remember the name of that store right there. Inked Impressions. If I'm not mistaken, Inked Impressions was I think that was the wife of the person that started that wholesale show that happened in various places around the country, and also this rubber stamp retailer publication. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it was him. But I think this was his wife's store, and then he started that rubber stamp retailer kind of association. Heirloom Impressions. You're probably all familiar with a lot of their conventions that happened all over the United States. They were the people. Heirloom Conventions. I don't know if you remember this thing called the Doll Show. But I used to see these signs all around, like in Orange County and LA and stuff like that. Periodically, it would say the doll show, and it would be done in this fluorescent, like banners put up everywhere. And I later found out that Heirloom Production was the ones that put on those doll shows. And then they started doing the stamp shows, and I think they stopped doing the doll shows. They, stamping just got so popular. They just had conventions going around everywhere. Okay, Stamp, Stamp, Stamp. That was a retailer in L.A. And then Judykins bought them. God, I don't remember teaching there, though. But Stampscaping 101, December 1993. So, gosh, I don't remember teaching at that. Maybe I do. I think that was in Century City, but I thought they had a second store there. All right, look at this one right here. Impressive Impressions right here. September, October 1993. Someone used some of my Stamp of the Hand images. I was teaching a lot of classes with both Stampscapes and a Stamp of the Hand stuff because I just didn't have enough images in 1993 just for Stampscapes. So this was a little pamphlet here on Impressive Impressions. I'm trying to find... Okay, yeah. Farmington, Connecticut. That was a store there. I didn't teach there. I guess she just had just some of my things featured here. Oh, she circled this little article right here. And it was a little newsletter for them. They carried my designs for a long time there at that location here. November 1993. Oh, okay, here. All right, now this is not how crazy this thing got to. Okay, maybe I had a much larger map. Okay, well, I don't know, 1990, this is 1993. I might be mistaken here, but I thought there was a lot more vendors, like say closer to 2,000 or something like that. But, okay, so I'm looking through here. It doesn't say the list. I'm not going to go through and count these one by one on this video right here. But, okay, so this is the Carson Community Center. It's not a kind of a traditional convention center where you have this one big hall, okay? So the things that would go on here are more things like smaller shows and whatnot. And this is the main area right here. And this is what it's the size of the convention now. As a matter of fact, it's only that one building that way, like over here, okay? Which is the size of the convention that I first started at in 1987, okay? But now, if you've seen my other photographs or something like that on Facebook, this is the atrium area. It's this garden area, and this was a sunken grass courtyard, okay? And this was a walkway around on both sides. It's like, I don't know, paver stones around this way and whatnot. It's covered, but it's kind of open to the weather. So Kathy didn't like having vendors out there during certain times of year, but I don't know, we went for, I don't know, 15 years without it raining, even like in November or March. But, okay, so by this point in time, I guess there was already vendors out here. I guess that makes sense because my first convention that I did was in the West Wing. I couldn't remember the name of that wing. But I was right here in this room right here. Now, if you're familiar with the Carson Convention, this one became Darcy's Country Folk. Was that the name of that retailer? She took up this whole big, huge room right here. This is like, I have like a 10 by 20 booth right here, okay, just to give you this idea. And these are two 10 by 10 booths right here. So this is my first convention at Carson, November 20th, 1993. Okay, now this whole downstairs area was this pit area. So you walk down these stairs right here, and there was this big fireplace right here. Like I said, this is not like your typical convention area. We were making do. And then there was like these are separate rooms in here. So you really kind of needed this map to figure out where a certain vendor was if you were looking for them. Okay, and this is the North Hall. This is where Stamp the Hand was always at, and there was other booths in here. Okay, so it kind of became a labyrinth, you know. It looks simple on this map here, but believe me, when people first came to the show sometimes, they would go into the main hall and they would know this is out here. Or if they entered from over here, they would know this. And see, this is all at one big wall right here. But behind this wall, there was this sunken kind of room in here with like steps going down. And there were booths in here. So if this was your first convention, sometimes you got here and you were kind of overwhelmed. There was a lot of people in this whole area. It's crowded, okay? So sometimes I could hear a lot of people that came back to the show because they said, we didn't even know this whole area right here existed, like on a Saturday or something like that. So, or they just didn't have time. They came back, you know, for something like that. Okay, but not only that, there were some stairways up here that got them to this other level up here. The other level isn't equal to this bottom floor area, but there was like this room up here where there was 3 rooms up here for it was like, it says classroom, but I guess they were teaching classes at that time. Oh, here's the wholesale room right here. Okay, and this is where they would be doing these lectures and whatnot. Mini lectures. I think it was up here. I would guess it was room A and B, where just the various vendors would be talking about a certain technique or their newest products or whatever there. So that was, you know, that's kind of the gist. I don't know, you'd really have to see photographs of it to see this this kind of madness. Now, this convention used to, I don't know if they started opening it up at 8 o'clock or something like it. It was typically 9 to 5, but it wouldn't be surprising to get here at 7 o'clock to continue setting up. You know, vendors are still setting up the booths. But you would see, I don't know, there might be 100 people in line at 7 a.m. or something like that in the morning. That got pretty crazy. So there was one entrance right here. And sometimes this line started from out here because you had to kind of go through this lobby of this community center. And that line for that entrance went like around this whole area like that. And when I'm talking about like that to that, I don't know, it was like the length of a football field or something like that. And it got even crazier. There were people, someone mentioned to me, it's one of the first times I actually heard from someone that took a shuttle bus that was across the freeway about, I don't know, not too far, you know, maybe about 2-3 miles away at this IKEA shopping center. So I guess she got permission from them. But anyways, you know, that's kind of how that used to go right here in terms of the convention. I've heard from a lot of people that used to attend go to all the different conventions there at Stamp the Hand. Here's more Stamp Your Heart Out. Paper Post was one of the artists for a Stamp the Hand, but she opened her own retail store, so I taught out there in Thousand Oaks. I didn't like teaching out there. I really liked Sinan and her store and everything like that, but that from Huntington Beach to Thousand Oaks, we're talking, it took me like an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours to drive there, and then 2 hours to drive back, you know, to my house in Huntington Beach. You know, it was pretty far away. Folsom Stamp Mania. This is our stamp club, Folsom Stamp Mania in Kevin Nakagawa. I tell people, yeah, I went to go teach in Folsom, and people would think, oh, wait, you went to go teach at the prison? And I say, no, there's like a downtown Folsom, like an old town Folsom and whatnot, you know. But doesn't have anything to do with the, I think it's state penitentiary. But I taught there 1 or 2 times, and that was fun. I'm reading this right here. Looks like she has a little write-up there. Newsletter. San Mateo, February 5th and 6th. I love this convention right here. It was an heirloom production stamp convention, and I really liked that one, but I was already doing this other one twice a year in San Jose, which is really close to San Mateo. So just doing 3 conventions in that, given area was a little bit too much, so I stopped doing that one. But I did that one, I think, twice in Stamp Day. Okay, so Stamp Oasis right here. This is a teaching, okay, Kevin Nakagawa Landscapes and Beyond. Once a year chance to work with a master. I'm no master of anything. 3-hour hands-on class. February 26th. All materials included. Okay. So I used to go to Stamp Oasis. Kevin Nakagawa glasses. I don't know if this is that one time that I was out there. It doesn't say the date on this one right here. But one time when I was teaching out there, I carried all my stamps in like a bag to teach, you know. And it's only like a 45-minute flight from Los Angeles or something like that. But, okay, this is not the first. This is Kevin is back right here. But one time they took me out to dinner, and this is back, you know, in 91 or I don't, 2, 3 or something like that, because I was teaching Stamp at the Hand. It's the first time I've ever flown somewhere to teach, but I flew out in the morning and I was going to fly back in the at night, and it's like 1 hour before my flight. I'm thinking, hey, I need to get over the airport. No, you're going to be fine or something like that. They dropped me off at the airport like 20 minutes before my flight was to take off. And I get to the, you know, the desk, and she says, hey, you know, I don't know if you're going to make it. Your bag will probably make it, because I checked it. And I don't know, I had visions of O.J. Simpson in that Hertz commercial, like running through the airport and like jumping over, you know, chairs and everything like that. It was crazy. But I just made it through the thing. I was so sweaty. I said, all right, that's the last time I ever listened to anyone. I got to get to the airport on time. Hippo Heart right here. This is in the Bay Area. I taught there once, I think. And I just saw their ad in one of those old Rubber Stamp Madnesses. But, yeah, 1994, Saturday, Stampscapes. Yeah. It looks like I taught 2 classes that day. I don't know. That's a long way to go up there for 2 classes. I don't know if I taught anywhere else. Would I just go? I don't know. It's like driving for 14 hours, 7 hours both ways to teach 2 classes on one day. I don't know if I did that, or if I was teaching somewhere else at the same time, like maybe the next day. But I don't know. We pretty much went all out, you had to promote your line, back in the day, and, get the word kind of going out there and whatnot. So maybe Stampacadabra, Fresno. Oh, yeah! I loved teaching there. Stampscaping 101, that's another place, so one day, 2 classes for 4 hours, and I don't know, that's... driving to Fresno for me, like, I said, like a 6-hour one-way drive or something like that, probably. And I don't know. I enjoyed it, though. I got to enjoy driving a lot. It was one of the few times when I was working, like, constantly. I was probably working 18 hours a day at home. So actually teaching a class like that and getting done at 5 o'clock or something like that and getting back to my room, like, from 8 p.m. or whatnot, that was like I've taken a vacation, not having to work from, till like 4 a.m. in the morning or something like that. So, yeah. So here's Rubberama. This is the San Jose show right here. And San Jose Civic Auditorium. It was held in this location for years and years and years. And then I don't know, it got smaller and smaller and smaller. And then they moved the show. But San Jose was always one of my favorite shows, and we did that twice a year. Then I think I started doing it once a year. Rubber Soul, this is in Poulsbo, Washington, Poulsbo. But you had to take that ferry to get out there. But I had the owner of that store come out and, he picked me up at the airport and stuff like that. I don't know. It would be confusing for me back in these days to know how to get somewhere, and how to get on, get on the ferries and stuff like that. But it was a really small store, and it was in this upstairs area. It felt like more of kind of like a, kind of like a touristy area type of thing, but a really small location, but really fun to teach there and whatnot. Um, and this is summer 1997, so I don't know. Rubber Soul was they also carried my stamps there from pretty early on, and they'd been asking me to go teach there. And then I think they had two stores, so I think I taught at both stores that time. So Stampscaping 101, you see Denami Designs on here, Fred Mullet. You might recognize, if you've been stamping for a while, you'll probably recognize some of these other names here in terms of the instructors at these given locations. And here's some of my designs here on their, I guess this is probably their monthly, or I don't know, bi-monthly flyer or something of that sort. I need to scan all these and just get rid of this stuff. I don't have room for all this. Well, I guess I did. I just found this, but oh, just more of the different flyers and what. I don't recognize some of this. Oh, okay. Here's this one right here. Oh, okay. Stephen James demo. Stephen James did a demonstration using Stampscapes images at the most recent CIA meeting hosted by the Rubber Tree. I don't know what CIA meeting stands for. Summit Crafting. I don't think it's a Central Intelligence Agency. Okay, so here's another map of the Carson show. You know, free Stampscapes demo. Where is this one? This is at Toad Hall again. What is this one right here? Okay, so this is a different... This is your typical map here. Now, some of you have never been to a rubber stamp convention. Okay, so this is, I'm going to lay out for a stamp convention, and a convention hall is typically going to look like that. It's not going to be, divided up between 5 different, rooms and stuff like that, connected up between, with a bunch of halls and whatnot, so where was this? Okay, this is one whole big flyer right here. Let's see. This is, okay, this is Puyallup, Washington. Oh, okay, so this, see this right here, June 11th and 12th, 1994, okay? And this is the entrance right here. Let me see if I'm in, yeah. See, this is the entrance right here for this hall. This is the first time I've had, like, some vendor gave me, like, pole position at any show. So this is Stampscapes right here. Okay, and this is the entrance right here. I traveled this show right here from Orange County, so it's about a 15, I don't know, maybe 18-hour drive from LA, I think, to Washington. So I picked up my dad in Santa Barbara along the way because he had kind of recently, well, not too recently retired, but he wasn't working at that time. And he had never worked a cash register in his life. And this show right here, it's one of the first... one of the first rubber stamp conventions in this Seattle area, okay? And rubber stamps were kind of hopping at that point in time up there in the Pacific Northwest. You had people coming from Oregon, probably Portland area, whatever. Eastern Washington, Spokane, whatever. Going to the show right here. So my dad had never worked retail before in his life. He was an engineer and never worked a cash register. I took a pretty decent supply of stamps here, and we must have sold out in like 3 hours. Not really sold out, but we sold out a lot. But I don't know, my dad was running around like crazy there. And there were people asking him questions like, hey, we're from Oregon, do we have to pay sales tax? And my dad was like, I don't know, he's run over to me and I'm demonstrating and whatnot. And that was one of the first shows up there that I did, so a lot of people didn't, I don't know, I hadn't been teaching a lot of classes up there either at that point in time. There weren't a whole lot of stores at this point in time carrying the line. Later, a huge number of stores doing that where I was teaching a lot, but they assumed that my dad was me, and so they said, oh yeah, Kevin was working the register and his son was demonstrating. So I always got a kick out of that. And I don't know, my dad was, I don't know, my dad did great. And it was one of those fun things to kind of share with him in terms of, I don't know, one of those experiences like that. We hadn't really worked together before, but I don't know, it was a kind of fun time to travel. I don't know. But he had a lot of relatives up there, like brothers and sisters-in-laws, and or sisters, and my uncles and aunts and whatnot. So it was a good trip for him to go on. Museum of Modern... What is this right here? Oh, this is the West Hills Rubber Stamp Shop. Okay, this is in the... They call that the Valley area of Los Angeles or whatnot. But it looks like I taught a class there? Gosh, yeah. So, I don't know. This is, I guess this is kind of like a scrapbook from my first year of Stampscapes. So, not that all the years weren't special and whatnot, but, you know, especially special or whatever, you know, getting started like that. So, Stampographic, that was in Edmonds, Washington. They had this, yeah, this, okay, so I'm glad I got this right here because I forgot about these things. So, they had this event called Midnight Madness, Saturday, June 24th. 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. Okay? So look at this right here. So 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm demonstrating like for 1 hour. Okay? And then it looks like I had an hour off. And it was in these different locations. It wasn't all at the store. And I forgot how it was kind of arranged. But then I wasn't doing anything for an hour. Then another hour, I was doing, I don't know, Stampscapes or something like that. So I don't know. I think they flew me up there, I think. And I don't know, I demonstrated for 2 hours, I guess? You know, at different times or whatnot. Look at this, spin the wheel. Oh, so maybe you got up to the cash register or something like that. And then you spin a wheel. And then you get between 10 and 25% off all in-store purchases. And it's from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. only, so I don't think you're buying anything at, you know, you're not going to be buying anything at, you know, 5 p.m. or something like that. But, I don't know. I'm not going to take this out of here right now, but, I know it's kind of fun looking back at that. It'd be interesting to know if any of you attended the I can't even get this back in here. This is First Impression Rubber Stamp Arts. That was a store that I taught at several times right here, but someone did a scene right here using Stampscape stamps right here. One of the best rubber stamp stores. I think I mentioned them in my last show and tell video on a old back issue of Rubber Stamp Madness right there. Wow. Look at this one right here. Create rubber stamp excitement with decorating chalks, okay? So these are those, I forget what kind of chalks those are called. I don't know, do you know what they're called? But look at that scene right there. That's nature set number 1. But those were stamps that I made for a Stamp the Hand company. But now they're in my number 1 right. But chalks done by Michelle Abel. Okay, now Michelle Abel was the writer for this. Okay, this is decorating chalks. She was the writer for I forget the name of the book, but yeah, she used chalks. So a lot of people think that the Stampscapes is a technique. Okay, well, if you're going to do Stampscapes, then, you know, you got to use glossy cardstock. Hey, some people never use dye-based ink at all except to stamp their impressions. Some people only use Stampscapes with chalks or colored pencilers or whatnot. But, I don't know, there's all kinds of different things right there. Stampscaping 101. Oh, this is there. I am right there in this newspaper article on the Santa Maria Times right there. So, art emerges from class on stamping right there. Pretty interesting. Now, naturally, the owner of that store called into the paper and said I'm coming, or something like that. They probably made me out to be bigger than, than I ever was. Stamp DeVille in Texas, I taught there. Was Stamp DeVille the one I was just telling someone about? The teacher that taught for, I think it was Stamp DeVille, I could be mistaken. But I had this stamp called the Tonal Applicator, which is, I don't know, I don't know where it is, but it looks like this little pear, and you kind of tap on ink, and it sounds like this. But I think she was the one that taught for this store right here. But I was telling someone that my workshops, if you get like 15 or 20 or even 10 people doing this like this, it's pretty funny hearing a class like that, tapping on their ink onto their pages because it was a bunch of tone on this kind of this pear-shaped object. So we used to tone on color that way. So my theory was a lot of my designs are made tonally with a bunch of dots, and we would be using tone to blend in additional colors like that. It's like a halftone or something like that in printing, but your hand applying that on there. But anyways, this teacher right here locked herself. Long story short, her husband worked nights. He got home in the morning. She walked out of the house, locked herself out. I guess she had her car keys though, and she was pounding on the door, and he never got up out of bed. He just went to bed, not too, long before she left. She walked outside, and she's just went into work. She said, okay, it's already, I might as well just get to work a little bit early. And when she got home, she says, hey, you didn't hear me knocking on the door? I was pounding on the door, and you didn't hear me. And he says, I thought you were stamping. And he thought she was, using the tonal applicator, so he didn't let her in. So that was the funniest tonal applicator or stamping type of Stampscapes story I ever heard. Yeah, someone mentions it right here. Rubber Stamper's World. I don't know what this magazine is from. The original Rubber Stamp Convention keeps stampers and vendors busy. Limelight. Oh, this is the Rubber Stamper magazine. Okay, so someone went there. And this is right here. Kevin Nakagawa from Stampscapes was, as usual, wowing crowds with his mile-a-minute stamping. So they're talking about the tonal applicator. All you had to do to find the Stampscapes booth was to follow the chain gun thump, thump, thump noise. So that's always one of those funny things. And one of those things, remember when I was talking about that Folsom workshop that I was doing? Well, to get enough space for my workshop, they had it done in this empty, I don't know what it was like a storeroom upstairs or something like that. And it was in this kind of historical district, so we're talking about these old buildings. And so you got 15 people doing this, okay, on the tables and whatnot. And this guy comes to the door from the store underneath. It was an antique store or something like that. And he says, hey, what are you guys doing? There's all this pounding coming, happening, we can't have that being done. It sounds like someone's doing construction, on the, right above, his ceiling, which everyone can hear in his store. So I was like, oh my God, we just started teaching. I got a 3-hour workshop, we're only like an hour into it. And I think I'm teaching like multiple workshops up there. So instead of going like this, I told everyone, hey, when you use the tonal applicator, kind of go like this instead. So I don't know. It wasn't a pleasant experience, but it made it memorable in terms of that workshop trip. This is a tropical series right here. I don't know what this is from right here. Another map for okay, this is another thing on center. The Carson show right here. Okay, check this out right here. This is, I was talking about rubber stamping in Australia to someone, and I was just telling them that they used to have conventions down there. I don't know if they were annual types of things or a one-time type of thing, but Crafty Lady was the Australian uh, sole, exclusive retailer there for many years. So it looks like she has a little write up here or something like that. She was selling some more types of Australia kind of specific types of animals to go with the my own stamps. So these are Crafty Lady stamps right here that they can use. You need a group of kangaroos, right? That to go in with the nature line and whatnot. This is the tonal applicator right here. It looks like, I don't know. This is she made like copies of my own catalog at the time, but it was just this little kind of field of little dots like that. So the Crafty Lady and Christine and Graham from Crafty Lady carrying the line like that, and she was pretty. She organized a trip from Australia to come to the Carson, the original Rubber Stamp Convention at one point in time. So I don't know, that was a pretty big trip. So hiking, stamping trip. Scenescapes, hiking into the sunset. Oh, this is someone that taught classes, I think, right here. And let's see what this one is right here. Rubber Stamp. Oh, this is Rubber Stamp Madness. They used my Milky Way behind check this out right here. This is behind this angel right here. I used this angel fairly recently in a video, and it's by Marks of Distinction. If it's not Marks of Distinction, let me see. Yeah, Marks of Distinction. I think a couple different companies had this stamp right here, but a lot of people went looking for the stamp, and there were two of them on eBay, and one person that bought that. It's a gigantic wooden stamp. They're much big. It was bigger than my G-size stamps, and their wood was 1 inch thick. So we're talking about a heavy thing. And I think someone bought it, and someone told me they bought it, and they were like in France or something like that. It must have cost them, I don't know how much it cost them, $20 probably to ship over there at cheapest, if not more. Trifles in Maryland right here. Stampscapes, Sunday, 2 p.m. 4th Annual Rubber Retreat, October 4th and 5th, 1997. So that was a really great store out there, Trifles. And I taught out there once. Saner? Oh, okay, Saner. Rubber stamping into the North Woods. Stamp used by permission from Stampscapes right here. I was wondering if this was... Okay, okay, Your Guide to Rubber Stamping. So this is the... they were kind of organized up there in that, I guess the northern Wisconsin area or whatever. But here's the Saner one right here. This number 6 right here. So they had all these different stamp stores right here. Maybe not so much specialty rubber stamping places. I mean, some of the places, they probably all carried stamps. How much they carried, I don't know. But Pastimes right here carried quite a bit of them. And then just became, I think, all stamps. So kind of a map like that. But I taught up there in Saner one time. There's this lake somewhere that I stayed at, and it was awesome. I had this whole kind of retreat or what, I don't know, this area that had like several cabins on this lake, but it was post summertime by quite a few weeks, so I had that whole place to myself. And it was still open. I'm guessing they probably closed up after after that thing, because I was the only one staying there. But what I liked about it was I was going out there, and I had reservations at this place, and the guy said, okay, he said, hey, well, I said, I'm going to get in there like at 9 p.m. or something like that. He says, okay. He says, he's not going to be there, but, you can go into your room. I said, well, how do I know what room, is going to be mine? when I show up there. He says, I'll leave the light on in the front of your cabin. You know what I mean? So it's so safe up there. You know, he just leaves the light on, the door's open, the keys are inside, like on the table or something like that, you know. But it was awesome. I had this whole lake to myself. You know, I taught during the daytime, so I was out on the lake or something like that. And the last day, when I was leaving there, I only found out at that point in time, oh, by the way, there's this, like a canoe or something like that, that came with the cabin. So I could have taken it out on the lake if I wanted to, you know. I don't know if I would have, but I don't know. Some nice memories and whatnot, and of a fun trip. I don't know what this flyer is right here. God, this, I had no idea this video would get this long right here. I want to kind of get through this. I'm almost through this. Look at this right here. See, what is this? Oh, Serendipity. This is my UK retail. When did you guys do this? I don't remember this. So Serendipity is my United Kingdom exclusive retailer, and I don't know, I guess they had this bag made up at one point in time. So cool. You know, we're talking about metallics. This is like metallic ink on, I don't know, can you see what that is? That's the cabin with fence right there, and there's the moon right there. That's my old Stamp of the Hand moon right there. The oak branch on the outside right here, but kind of cool. I'm going to have to try this one using silver ink on maybe some purple or something like that, Star Dream paper. But that is really cool like that. Now, it's Stampscapes.com, but they have their own United Kingdom domain now with Stampscapes. .co.uk. Stamp Shack. Here's someone I'm demonstrating on this, like a newsletter or something like that. Your Guide to Rubber Stamping in the North Woods. Okay, we just looked at that with the Pastime Gift and Sport Shop. It really became more just all stamps at that point in time. But let's see. Okay, final couple of little things here. My gosh. Arizona Republic. Oh! The Pampered Stamper. It says, the medium carries a message. When Cindy Smith of Mesa left and Lisa Webster of Scottsdale create cards at the Pampered Stamper, at left, semi-finished cards show what can be created. Pressing down below on the ink-coated stamps creates the design. Okay, so this is Cindy Smith. She was teaching this class there. Now, later, I was a guest out there of Cindy, and I taught out there. Oh, one of the significant things about the Pampered Stamper, besides them being, a fantastic store, and Cindy being a really awesome user of Stampscapes and a teacher of it, was this is the place where I first learned about the stylus tool. Okay, now they weren't utilizing this, I don't think, in this ink application method, but I was using the Tonal Applicator, and I was doing a demonstration, and they said, hey, have you ever used this to apply ink? But they gave me the wand with that foam core one. It was that black one that was really stiff, that didn't really absorb too much ink, but it was able to absorb enough. And I tried it on a scene. I thought, oh my god, I instantly, after like a few seconds, I thought, okay, I've seen the future. I love my Tonal Applicator and whatnot, but using something like this to apply ink, I felt was so much more intuitive. My problem with the Tonal Applicator is I can teach people in person, but it was really hard to describe how to use it in written form, okay? And back in these days, I don't know what date this is. I can't find a date here on this newspaper. I don't know, you didn't have YouTube and stuff like that available, where you can just upload, and digital photography wasn't around at the time, so I couldn't, just show people how to do that. So a lot of times when people get home from like a convention where they just saw it demonstrated, they get home and they think, oh, what do you do with this pear shape? They went and saw 60 booths, and, they saw, 50 different demonstrations going on over the course of 2 days, and they did, I don't know, 20 make-and takes or something like that. They're not going to remember how to use the tonal applicator. So that's when I started using that stylus tool right there, and that became a fantastic tool for me until they closed 2 years ago. ClearSnap. I don't know what this is from right here. In the beginning, Stampscapes. It's like a little article on me. I don't know when that came out or what it was for. Okay. Yeah, these things barely fit in these sleeves like this. Other scrapbooking types of stuff right here. Inclined to Stamp. Oh my gosh. If you've ever looked... I won this certified certificate is presented to Stampscapes for the best demo in booth at Stampaway. I actually won. I didn't think I ever won that one. I honestly don't remember winning this. It seemed like this one company always won this demonstration certificate. But if you've ever been to Stampaway, that's the Cincinnati, kind of Ohio rubber stamp show. They had these awards given. I think they gave these awards out at the friendliest booth, the best demonstration, maybe the best product or new product or something like that, at this little get-together at Connie, the convention coordinator's house, later on after the show on like a Saturday night or whatever. Okay, but Inclined to Stamp right here in St. Genevieve, Missouri. I taught out there, but I really didn't need to teach out there. Pam was an amazing... Pam Klein taught here. And if you look on the Stampscapes website in the gallery section under Pam Klein, she has some really amazing scenes and really elaborate types of compositions using a lot of different images. And she was one of the first people to stamp, like say with the StazOn ink, onto Mylar sheets, all of her Stampscapes designs. And then she stored those with the stamp, okay? So that when she got around to composing her compositions, she would take those Mylars and just, maybe over, a blank piece of paper, she would lay those down and compose that way so she can move things around, in different angles. Now, I don't know if she had multiple impressions, sometimes you use more than one image, multiple times in a scene. But she did that, and she came up with some of the best compositions and elaborate ones that I've ever seen. And I kind of associate it with that technique that she was doing with the transparencies. Okay, but not only that, she taught this other person named Jolene Meyer. And if you ever look at Jolene's work too, remember Pam had, she was the store owner. She had to use a bunch of different companies' stamps that she sold there, not just Stampscapes, but Jolene Meyer, her protege, became one of the awesome users of the line as well. In terms of, and she started doing all 8.5 by 11s. She just needed the space. She was taught by Pam on how to use the clear transparencies that she made. And if you look at her work, it's really amazing the way she breaks down kind of the use of the things like the seaside cove like this. And so you'll see this just stacked and stacked and stacked, like creating like a roaring rapids, with a bunch of bear, from other companies around this rapids, this cascading path of... this riverscape or whatnot. But I don't know, she did all kinds of things like that. And just really amazing stuff. So Jolene Meyer and Pam Klein. And I think for both of them, back in the day, they didn't have you couldn't self-publish on the internet. So I tried to get as many people, online published. So that's why we have the online gallery on Stampscapes. So, and then I would try to get some interviews and whatnot of some different users of the line, and Pam and Jolene were two of the people that I got around to doing a little, Q&A with, and where they went in and they talked about their process. So, all right. So, oh my God, if you've sat through that, I hope you found it. Well, I guess if any of you did, I don't know. I don't know if you wanted to torture yourself or whatnot, but I thought that was going to be a 10-minute flip through, but I don't know. I get flipping through these types of things like those rubber stamp madnesses, and I love thinking and talking about rubber stamps and whatnot. So if you've made it this far, thanks so much for watching. If you recognize any of these stores or any of these different events like Stamp Away, or the voting for demonstrations and things like that, or if you remember Carson and kind of the labyrinth of the different vendors in there, and having to look at a map or whatever, or parking or whatever, or how long did you stand out in line for, like at the Queen Mary show, or even just the regular 3 times a year shows over at the Carson Community Center. I don't know. Leave me a note in the comment section and let us know about it. It always stirs a memory or whatnot. I always loved hearing about those types of things. So, and I can also hear from, I don't know, kind of the other side. I know it from the vendor's standpoint, but I don't know what the experience was like in terms of say shopping at some of these different venues and whatnot in the different years and the different eras, almost practically, from going from kind of a smaller show in the main hall to a bigger show, or if you've been out to any of these different stores that I mentioned, Rubber Soul or Pastimes and Wisconsin and whatnot. I don't know. Let me know about it. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so thanks again for watching, and thanks as always for tuning into the channel.